video games being adapted for the silver screen is often a flip of a coin, with the unlucky side always up first. The same can be said for when the companies attempt to take some Hollywood blockbusters and turn it into a video game. It's usually an underdeveloped mess that was only meant to make more money. But every now and then, through the piles of awful licensed games, come some surprising diamonds in the rough that showcase genuine effort. After SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom got a successful remake, perhaps the same can be done for the other titles. Before the video starts, don't forget to subscribe our channel and hit those notification bell and like this video. Game number 10. Remake, the Harry Potter trilogy. This was a rare case when not one, not two, but 3 games in a row based on movies were all good. The first 3 games in the long series could be described as The Legend of Zelda Hogwarts Edition, and that's far from a bad thing. A wide map to explore with a multitude of fun mini-games, tons of spells to unlock for different challenges and puzzles, beans to collect, rupees essentially, and the loyalty to both the movies and the books. With the new Wizarding World RPG in development, it would be a perfect time to remake these games to prepare gamers for it. Game number 9. Forget, Jaws Unleashed. The Jaws films began with the strongest one of them all, then continued to gradually descend into B-movie slogfest. Therefore, it is fitting that the games would suffer the same fate. The NES game was lackluster, but at least it wasn't Jaws Unleashed. Jaws Unleashed has impressive graphics for a PS2 game and Bruce the Shark's free roaming gameplay. Is genuinely exciting. However, while there are a lot of great concepts in the play, they are ruined by a laughably silly story that presents Bruce as a hero and broken controls. This concept was better pulled off in the year's miniature. Game number 8. Remake, Star Wars Republic Commando. Not only could it be a much-needed return to the prequel era, but this is a case where an already brilliant game could be improved. Republic Commando is beloved for its code system and unique visor HUD, but the common complaint about the game is that it is way too short. With the remake, the developers could add more content and level to make it a proper campaign length. Also, the Commando is now a canon class of clone trooper, so it shouldn't interfere with the newer Star Wars material. Game number 7. Forget, Star Trek 2013. Another game that had a great concept. Star Trek is in a style of BioWare's Mass Effect and allows fans to play as a Captain Kirk or Spock from the J.J. Abrams movie. Awesome in the theory, but this game unfortunately reeks of being a rushed product. Glitches, repetitive gameplay, and performance from the movie actors that are obviously last second with the little effort. Star Trek has yet to have a decent single player game, and this was probably the straw that ruined the chances of that for good. Game number 6. Remake, Peter Jackson's King Kong. This is one of the most ambitious movie licensed game. Peter Jackson's King Kong is a great length, brings back the whole movie cast, has impressive visuals for the time, and an adrenaline fueled campaign that showcases some great monsters to fight. Oddly enough, one could argue that the game is more fun than the actual movie, seeing how it doesn't spend a decade on a boat. Game number 5. Forget, Thor, God of Thunder. Simply put, this is a very poor man's version of the original God of War titles that somehow still feels too much like a compliment to Thor, God of Thunder. Graphics are not everything, but even for 2011, Thor God of Thunder was just ugly and looked more like a PlayStation 2 game. Much like Star Trek, Thor's gameplay is just clunky and repetitive. None of the locations are interesting, and the titular hero feels even less like a god in the game than he does without his armor in his first movie. Game number 4. Remake, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. If there was anything truly jaw-dropping to come out of the Phantom Menace, it was the pod race with Anakin Skywalker. It was a visceral and intense race that kept viewers on the edge of their seats despite them knowing that Skywalker was not going to be perished. This feeling of intensity was brought over nearly perfect to the Nintendo 64 with Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, an entire game dedicated to multiple circuits of pod racing with many pods and racers to choose from. It is also a very difficult game which could lead to a lot of fun online matches if given the option in a remake. Star Wars Episode 1 Eraser has been remastered for current system, but a full remake would be amazing. Game number 3. Forget Saw 2 Flesh and Blood. The first Saw game was far from perfect, but it was a decent title that followed the structure and style of the movie franchise. It incorporated tons of puzzle, a fan favorite character from the first movie, and plenty of gory combat. Now, remove everything positive that was just said about the first game, and that's the sequel. Everything about Saw 2 Flesh and Blood is just so boring. Nothing is interesting, which makes it a failure of an action or puzzle game. Game number 2. Remake X-Men Origins Wolverine Uncaged Edition. This game starring Hugh Jackman is not only eons better than X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is not saying much, but it is one of the most surprising Marvel games ever made that basically fixes all but one major complaint about the movie. An error that can easily be fixed. Logan's combat is fast, bloody and brutal. The story is actually darker and more epic than the movie, and the added story pieces fit well within the game. The only issue is that the developers still followed the movie with terrible mouthless Deadpool. With the remake, the game wouldn't have to follow a movie anymore and could be start of the new series of X-Men games. Game number 1. Forget The Fifth Element. Yes, there was a game based on the amazing movie starring Bruce Willis and Gary Oldman. The Die-Hard games of that era were good, so that should carry over here, right? Especially since it's made by the same people that bought Nightmare Creatures. Wrong. There are not enough words in the English language to convey the awfulness of the fifth element. The draw distance is practically 2 feet. The enemies are nearly impossible to kill on top of broken controls, and the game does not follow the movie well at all. It's a shame because it could have been something great.